And our first main topic today gets submitted to us by Matt Gorman, who writes, "Hey, John, big fan of the show. Thank you so much, Matt. Did you see that Moviepass's website has been resurrected with a countdown? I loved Moviepass, but I also watched its slow demise. Do you think they have a possibility of returning? Would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks." All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And oh my goodness, it's like the ghosts of future past, Rob. Or Ghosts of Christmas Past, Future Past, mixing X-Men and Ebenezer Scrooge in there. It's like the Ghost of Christmas Past coming back. Moviepass, ladies and gentlemen, is in the news again. It's in the news again. And it's so, look, just a quick Coles Notes here. So Moviepass comes out. They eventually gave this deal, $10 a month, go to up to one movie a day. I think it was one movie a day. For $10 a month. Sounded too good to be true. That's because it was too good to be true. They never figured out the financials on it. It was a guaranteed money loser. They then tried to strong arm and muscle the studios and the movie theaters into cutting them in on their money and their profits. The studios and the theaters said no. They kept hemorrhaging money. Pretty soon their services stopped working. They were blacking out big major new films. It's like, well, these are the movies we want to go see. And eventually they died a slow and grueling, ugly death. A slow and grueling, ugly death. Well, it looks like they might be back. There is a new website that just popped up from Moviepass Ventures that has popped up with a countdown clock. Now, this comes to us from the folks over at Variety, who write, on Tuesday, a Moviepass website launched a countdown clock set to end on Monday, March 22nd, and a tagline, "The movie is about to start." It appears the Moviepass Ventures website, which is separate from the company's original Moviepass.com website, was registered anonymously on February 7th, 2021. What does that portentous message mean? Don't ask Mitch Lowe, the former CEO of Moviepass. In an email, Lowe said, "I have no idea. It has nothing to do with me." Representative for Moviepass did not respond to Variety's request for a comment. A rep for former Moviepass chairman Ted Farnsworth said Farnsworth is not connected to the project either. Now, of course, Rob, Moviepass sunk. The Titanic sunk. It went down. It was predicated on a bad business plan. It was built around the idea that we can use extortion techniques like mafia members to try to force and strong-arm theaters into... They tried to get movie theaters to give them a percentage of their concession stand money. Like that was ever going to work. So they disappeared. They're gone. And now here we are. It looks like something's coming back. And it's got enough traction that even like a site like Variety is actually talking about it. Is there a place right now for a Moviepass to reemerge? Honestly, I don't think there is. Because what happened was, Rob, all these movie theater chains, they started implementing their own membership services. Before the pandemic hit, we saw the biggest transition and metamorphosis in the movie theater industry's history. They started to make the transition from a single-use buy a ticket model to a monthly subscription model, and which is the biggest change they've ever done. Now, then the pandemic hit, but we do have things like Regal Unlimited, and we do have things like AMC A-List, and we do, like Cinemark has their own thing, Alamo Drafthouse has their own thing, and these things are great for moviegoers. Like my AMC A-List, as much as I'm not a huge fan of AMC right now, but my AMC A-List is the greatest thing I've ever owned as a movie fan. I don't even know. Look, even if there's truth to this and Moviepass is about like somebody bought up the remaining pieces of Moviepass and now have the rights to it and they want to launch again, even if all that's happening, it doesn't feel like there's room on the playing field for that. I don't know what their role would be, Rob. Because whatever you try to do, you're going to have to try to get the theaters on board with you. And since they're all kind of peddling their own subscription services, I just don't see how it would work. Rob, the two questions for you are, number one, what do you think this ominous countdown clock to some kind of Moviepass relaunch means? And then number two, is there even a place for a Moviepass in today's market? How do you see it?
Well, I think all of this is just clever viral marketing for the return of Quibi. But that's just me. No, when I saw this, you and I were both Moviepass customers, and I had paid, I got a year in advance on Moviepass, and I liked it and used it, and I thought it was great until suddenly it wasn't. And the very thing that was paid for couldn't happen anymore. You couldn't go to movies. They limited the showings. The business model, and I think one of the reasons I wanted Moviepass, I'm like, how is this even going to work? Even in my head, I couldn't figure out, how does this business model make any sense at all? And of course, it didn't. So, and like you pointed out, I think one, Moviepass is not going to come back. And two, as you astutely pointed out, all of the other major theater chains implemented their own membership plans, which people love, and they work great. And why would you have a middleman between your theatrical or your theater chains subscription service, whatever you want to call it, their pass? What's AMC's called?
A-list.
A-list. Okay. Why does AMC need a middleman when they have their own? And you can deal directly with the theater that you're going to or your favorite theater chain. I don't think Moviepass is going to come back. I think it's some kind of a publicity stunt for something else because it didn't work. It's never going to work, especially now with, like you said, all these theater chains have implemented their own subscription or their own pass programs. What's Moviepass possibly going to have to offer to anyone?
And here's something else interesting to keep in mind, Rob. There's something this could be loosely connected to. Marky Mark of the Funky Bunch has a documentary series coming out on the rise and fall of Moviepass. So maybe this Moviepass thing now, according to the story, they had a source that said it wasn't connected, but they haven't been able to get an official comment from anybody. So of course, yeah, Mark Wahlberg has I believe it's Mark Wahlberg has a documentary coming out, a multi-part TV documentary for one of the streaming services about Moviepass and everything that happened with it there. So, I mean, maybe this is connected to that or not. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
That
I don't
makes
know.
sense.
It would make sense. So I don't know. We'll have to see how all this kind of unravels. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Do you think Moviepass could make some kind of triumphant return? Do you think there's even any room for it? Maybe they're just talking about trying to hype up and promote, the documentary that's coming out. I don't know. What do you guys think? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.